In this video, I'm gonna give you my top 5 favorite items in my studio of 2022. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As we wrap up this year and dive into 2023, I figured it'd be a good time to recap my most used / favorite pieces of gear or software I've used in 2022. Some things I've had for a couple years and some things are brand new to 2022. I've also ranked them from number 1 to number 5. What do you think they are? Are you gonna agree or disagree? Do you have some of the same equipment? What are your top 5 favorite things you've used in 2022? Let me know in the comments below. Also, while you're down there in the description, check out links to deals on things, links to my music, my website. I also have links to most all of the gear that I use in my studio below, and if you use any of those links to purchase anything, it helps support the channel as well. All right, now let's get to it. Number 5. This is something I use on pretty much every single song I work on, and that is my custom-built guitar. It is custom built because it was built to the spec that I wanted. So it feels great in my hand, it's a longer scale neck, custom hand-wound pickups, and it can kind of do a little bit of every genre really well. Sometimes I do reach for a different guitar if I need something different. For example, my Gibson Explorer, if I need something that has kind of more of a hot pickup, but more than likely, if you've heard any of my songs, you've heard this guitar. All right, and number 4. This is something you'll hear on most all of my tracks as well, and that is the Valhalla Reverb. For only $50, you can get so many amazing sounds out of this plugin. I use it on every single thing from guitar to drums to synth, across the board on everything, vocals, I even put it on drum buses. I use this reverb so much. It is easily my top 2 or 3 most used plugins across the board. And it just sounds fantastic as well. All right, coming at number 3 is the Diva Synth plugin. The Diva sounds great. My only downside with it is it takes quite a bit of horsepower to run, but it sounds great. And it is so much fun to play with and dial in sounds. This is a virtual instrument that you'll find on most all of my tracks, either disguising itself as a sub bass or maybe some dreamy synth, or a lead synth or a rhythm synth, anything like that. Usually I have this in multiple places on my tracks, just adding thickness or embellishments. All right, and at number 2, it's kind of cheating here, but it's the way I run them. It is my EQP-WAs into my WA bus comp. I said this before on this channel, I'll say it again. I feel like when you run your signal to the Warm Audio EQP Pultec style EQs into the bus comp, it's just magic. It just makes everything sound better right away. The main place I love to use this combo is when I'm mastering tracks. When you engage the EQ and the compressor, you can just hear everything kind of sits in its own pocket differently than where it is in the mix, in a good way. You start to hear more separation in your tracks, and it just makes everything sound more professional. I genuinely get excited when I go to master something and I get to run them through those. These 3 pieces of gear will always be in my track somewhere, somehow. They're amazing. And I say 3 because you have your left and your right EQ going into your stereo bus comp. Okay, and at number 1, hear me out on this. There's a reason that this is at number 1. The SSL UC1 with its plugins. Now I know you might be thinking, how in the heck is this rated above my EQP and my bus comp? Well, in the real world, the way I work, I still work mostly in the box. And before I got the UC1, I definitely, more than I like to admit, would mix things with my eyes instead of my ears. But with the UC1, I forced myself to mix more with my ears than my eyes. And right away, I could tell that my mixes were getting much better. Now, did the SSL UC1 and its plugins sound better than my Warm Audio gear? No, in my opinion, it does not. But my mixes have gotten so much better using the UC1. It has broken me from a bad habit of using my eyes to mix versus my ears. And then the best part is, once I get my mix sounding better while using the UC1 and its plugins, then I get to use all my Warm Audio gear. It really is the best of both worlds. Now next year, I might change what's my favorite. There's a really good chance of that. The SSL UC1 might drop out of the list or further down, who knows? But this year, because I think it's still kind of new to me and exciting and it's improved my workflow so much, that's my number 1 right now, the SSL UC1 and its plugins. And of course, a couple honorable mentions, my other Warm Audio gear, my WA73 and my WA76. And of course, I've been using Cubase forever, and that is my DAW of choice. That's been fantastic. I've not had any problems with it at all. My Fractal Axe effects too, that's been a workhorse for me for years and years and years, and I still use it on a weekly or daily basis. And another thing I've used a lot this year with all the products I've worked on is Ozone Advanced. I use that mostly only for when I'm mastering tracks, but it is a great piece of software. All right, what are your thoughts on my top 5? What are your top 5? Let me know in the comments below. Is my top 5 trash? Is it good? What would you move around? I hope to hear from you. And again, please check out the description below for links to my music, my website, and things like that. Well, until next time, see you later.